Hello everybody, my name is Raj Sethi and welcome to Compass Box Studio 2.0. Welcome inside the Compass Box Studio 2.0. The moment you walk into the studio, the very first thing you're greeted, in fact, is with this wall over here, which is a small compilation of some of the work that we've done over the last couple of years. We've been very fortunate to work with labels, with independent artists, with directors, and with producers, and we'll keep populating this wall as we keep doing more work. The two walls you can actually see are also color-coded. So this one over here, which is the red wall, is our control room behind this wall. And behind this one over here, which is the blue wall, is our live tracking room. The space is kind of sparse and clean. I've always wanted a lounge that was not too busy. And I think we've done a good job when it comes to this particular space over here. As we come further in, you'll actually see this little storage area over here. This is where we put all our equipment. So our tube amps, we've got, a tube amp for Vox, Mesa Boogie. We've got a couple of custom tube amps down there. A couple of guitar cabinets, a keyboard amp, there's a bass amp behind there, an extra snare. We've got a transformer for like US-based amplifiers that we use, another stereo XY mic over there. So most of our gear remains over here. That way we can keep the live room super clean and only need the gear that we really use for that particular session. As we come further in, this is the main lounge. So another IKEA couch over there, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. And this is the pantry area. Every studio kind of needs a pantry, and every studio needs a coffee machine with every pantry. So we have a coffee machine. We've got a kettle for making tea. This gets used a lot more than I had originally anticipated, because a lot of people that come here and record need coffee. That sort of fuel that's needed for recording is an important part of the recording process. So we have enough coffee and stuff available over here. Oh, would you look at that? I wonder what's playing on the TV over there. Those are some of the Compass Box live sessions that we have recorded at our old studio. It's kind of crazy looking back at that space compared to this space and just see how much we've grown over the last couple of years. But we typically keep our live sessions playing in this space because we also want to promote the artists that we've recorded over here. Quite often we would have other musicians or directors come down and they'll see a live session and they'll be, oh, who's that artist? So it's a great way to get discovered as well. And since we've worked with over 60 live sessions over the last couple of years, we have a decent library and a jukebox of different kinds of music as well. So natural light is also a huge component when it comes to recording and designing the space. So in the lounge also, you'll see that we have this massive window over there. And right opposite to that, if I take you over here, you can actually peek into the live room. And you can peek into the live room and you can see the nature and the sort of grasslands on the other side as well. I wanted to have this singular, vision statement where you can have somebody sitting over here and they can see what's happening inside the live room. And because you can see inside what's happening in the live room, you don't really need a blinking red light saying that there's a recording happening. This is our little scheduler. Whenever we have recordings, we'll typically write down the schedule for the day, so everybody's aware of what's happening. And of course, we have a bathroom as well. So it's a fully self-contained space with the pantry, bathroom. You want water, we have an RO as well. So it's a fairly sort of, compact area that has all the things you need to record an album or a single or an EP. So if you're interested, come down over here. We're based in Ahmedabad and we'd love to work with you. Welcome to the Compass Box Studio live room. This is the room where we do all our tracking, and it's large enough where we can accommodate up to a 10-piece band live, which is one of the few studios in Gujarat and in fact a few studios in India that has that sort of capability. We can record everything from drums to guitars to electric guitars, mandolin, any acoustical instrument you can think of, we can record over here. Couple of the standout features for this space, aesthetically and from an acoustic standpoint, are obviously the two diffusers that you can see over here. We've got these massive diffusers that were custom designed by the lovely people of Sound Wizard, specifically for this room. So the particular frequencies and the tuning, the absorption and the diffusion, everything is unique to this room. Everything has been custom made to accommodate the acoustics and the room modes of this particular space. The other diffusers over there, as you can see, the diffusers are kind of placed in these off-axis positions. So this diffuser is in direct contrast to the glass panels that we have over here, which is why the diffusers are where they are. In addition, the entire wall of this particular side of the room is completely curved. So if you take a look from there and then just sort of move to the other side, it's this lovely one piece. I mean, it's not one piece, but it's a lovely, slats of wood that cover this entire area. The idea is, of course, to prevent any two parallel walls. That's great for acoustics. So that's one of the reasons why this entire wall is just this lovely curved space. Between the ceiling and the floor, we also have diffusion on top. If you can see on top, we've got these lovely pyramids made of MDF, and right in the middle, it's hollow and it's filled with INF50, which is the material that we use for diffusion specifically on the ceiling. The entire ceiling as well, you may not be able to see it with the lighting, but is made of woodwill board, and it's exposed woodwill board as well. So it has some really nice acoustical properties as well. Now, coming on this side of the studio, we can see our mic locker as well as most of our cabling and stands. I really wanted a space that was neat and clean and had everything sort of in one place. We could probably do a better job in the neat and clean department, but everything is in one place. So we've kind of achieved our goal over there. We've got everything from dynamics to condensers to ribbon mics, drum mic kits. We've got brands from Shure, from Sontronics, from Blue, Neumann, which is also one of our partners of the studio, which I'll be talking more about later. Lewitt, Audix, I mean, you name it, we've got a mic for your application. So we do a lot of podcasts as well. So SE Electronics has also supplied us with these lovely podcast mics. Look at that. That's pretty nice. So thank you, SE Electronics, for that as well. And we have enough cabling and enough stands to cover a full live session. At the studio, we kind of have three main panels for most of our I/O. If you could see these panels that we have over here on the side, we have about 24 inputs that we can record simultaneously into Logic or Pro Tools, but we also have enough scope for live streaming. So we've got four HDMI cables routed directly from here into the control room. So if you wanted to record a band live and stream that on YouTube with all our processing, that's something we can do. We have a 4-channel HDMI splitter and a switcher as well. So we can record a live stream, which is something we're very, very excited to do. And hopefully that'll be coming up soon. We also have LAN RJ45 connectors, if you saw in the panels. And that's for our monitoring solution. So our entire monitoring solution is handled by Behringer's PowerPlay system. This allows every single artist to have a unique set of monitoring just for themselves without constantly going back and forth with the engineer being like, hey, please increase my track or increase my click. They can do that entirely on their own. Moving to the far end of the live room, we have the ISO booth. Now, the ISO booth is something that I deliberated over a long time. Initially, the idea was to just have this entire room as one large live room. But having the ISO booth gives us a couple of opportunities for live recordings. So the first thing is that the ISO booth is large enough to fit an entire drum kit in there. So come on with me over here. You can see that for an ISO booth, this is pretty spacious. You can do most of your dubbing. So all our dubbing projects typically happen over here. There's a TV screen over here for any dubbing and ADR projects that we typically do. So there's in fact a vocal session going to be happening soon, which is why this is set up like this. But this is a large ISO booth. Whenever we do our live recordings and whenever we have a band that wants to record their full song live, the drum kit stays over here. And because the drum kit stays over here, we actually have this ingenious little solution that I learned from one of my friends, is that we have this permanent installation of an XY mic. So this serves as our overhead mics when we have drums, and it also serves as a room mic, as a stereo room mic when we're recording outside as well. The idea of this is that when you have a full kit over here, to reduce the amount of clutter in this space, we can reduce our requirement for stands and just have one of these on top as our overheads. One of the unique things about Compass Box, in fact, compared to most other studios, is the view you have outside. Most studios are in commercial buildings or right in the middle of the city. And over here, you have nature outside, which is a great way to take a break from recording. Most places, when you take a break, you're surrounded by more noise and not less. But over here, we get a mini safari experience over here. There are nilgais behind over here. There are peacocks. You'll see mongoose. You'll see, a herd of cows. So it's a very unique experience when it comes to recording. For those of you who've seen any of our videos in the past at the old studio, the control room and the live room are separated by this big panel of glass. And that's something I've become so used to, seeing the artists perform while I'm recording them. I knew I wanted that kind of visibility when it came to designing this new studio. So from the live room, there are two main glasses that you can peek into the control room. The first glass is over here in the main live room. So you can see the engineer sitting over there. And the second panel of glass is actually in the ISO booth itself. So whenever we have dubbing projects, whenever the artist is over here recording, it's a clear line of sight when it comes to the engineer, which is great when it comes to recording because you don't have to look through a screen to see the engineer's face or the producer's face. You can see them right over here, which is an important part when it comes to the whole workflow of producing music. So between the control room and the live room, we actually have 3 panels of glass to create enough isolation and separation between the two spaces. And it's filled with silica gel. So if there's any undue moisture, temperature changes between the two spaces, you won't get any buildup of moisture or fog in the space. I knew that the vibe of the space is going to be an important part of what qualifies as a good recording space. This entire room is actually fitted with hue lights so that depending on the session and depending on the recording, if you wanted a different kind of mood, we can do that literally with a touch of a button. It's super convenient and it really allows artists to get into the vibe and the mood for their own recording. You want something a little more blue, we can do that as well, right? So it's a very convenient way of lighting a scene. And since we do a lot of recordings and a lot of video recordings over here, having that flexibility makes it really easy for cinematographers and directors also to work in this space. Because we do a lot of video shoots over here, it just makes the entire experience cohesive. You don't need to get extra lights. You don't need to worry about RGB confusion or any of that. All of that is controlled by the phone. And you can actually make different scenes depending on the different parts of the song. So during the verse, you can have it be dimmer. And during the chorus, you can make it brighter or a different color. All these options is something new to our workflow over here at Compass Box 2.0. So our house kit is a DW design series. We have a 5-piece kit, which we use pretty much in every production that we've ever done at Compass Box Studio. And the best part is if you have a band that's coming down, which we routinely do at Compass Box from Jaipur or from Bangalore or from Delhi or from Bombay, they don't need to worry about hiring equipment. They don't need to worry about backline. They don't need to worry about renting additional stuff because everything that's available in Compass Box is usable for the artist. So drum kits, we've got you sorted. We've got MIDI keyboards from the lovely people at Arturia who sent us this lovely, amazing keyboard. So thanks to Arturia and the inventory for sending this to us. We also have a selection of tube amps, basses, guitars. So anything you need as a band to come and record and perform over here, we've got you sorted out. Welcome to the new and improved control room for the Compass Box Studio. This is where all the magic happens. This is where we mix. This is where we record. This is where all our gear resides. And this is also where this amazing table sits right before me as well. So let me give you a little bit of a tour of the space, some of the equipment, and basically how we use the space. Now, for any studio, the table serves as the foundation for which the studio is built upon. And that's no exception over here. I went through quite a lot of designs in terms of what kind of table do I want for the studio. Do I want a mastering style desk? Do I want a split bay style desk? And I ended up with this particular split bay arrangement. This is custom made over here. We've taken a lot of design cues and inspiration from a lot of the great table manufacturers out there in the world. We've kind of divided this into two places. So we've got 10U rack space over here, 19-inch rack space over here. And we have another 10 units over there. So which gives us a total of 20U of usable rack storage. All of these are, of course, 19-inch rack mount standards. So starting on this side, is kind of what I'd like to consider as the mastering side slash, just the hub, the mother hub of the particular studio. We actually have two UAD Apollo devices. The first one is the X16 and the other one is the X8P. Both of these are daisy chained together using Thunderbolt, which gives us a total of 32 in, 32 out at this particular studio. Moving above that, we have the Manley E-Lock compressor, which is an incredible LA2A style compressor. And we've got two channels of that, so which is incredible for tracking vocals, incredible for pianos, for guitars, you name it, it goes into this. Above that, we have the lovely Audioscape Bus Comp. This is essentially a clone of the SSL G-Bus style compressor. And, Audioscape makes some really, really good, faithful clones. So I really wanted to try these guys out. This pretty much sits on the 2-bus for our masters. And as you can see, it's exactly styled according to the SSL, color scheme, which I really, really dig. Above that, we've got 3 of our patch bays. Now, these 3 patch bays basically control all the I/O of the studio. The top patch bay is kind of just for the mic tie-ins. So all 24 mic inputs that come from the studio are normaled into 24 of our mic pre's, which I'll show you later on as well. The second 2 patch bays basically connect all the outboard gear together. So for any requirement for us to record using the compressor, for example, or use another preamp, it's easy to do all of that through the patch bay. We don't have to keep going back and forth from the live room and then repatching it over there and coming back over here. So using a patch bay has kind of changed our workflow over here. We've never used a patch bay before, so but I'm really, really happy the way it's turned out. On the other side of the split bay is what I'd like to consider as the recording setup. Here is where most of our outboard mic pre's lie. You can see that it's kind of divided into the monitoring section, which is above over here. And all of these are our mic pre's. Now, I'd like to take you through some of them because we have some very, very special units that I'd like to talk about. So the bottom part over here is our 500 series rack. We are super fortunate to have Rupert Neve Designs 511s, an SSL VHD, an original Neve 1073, an API 312, the Focusrite Red 1, 2 SSL 6-channel channel strips, and 1 SSL stereo mastering UV EQ. Powering this entire chassis is the Rupert Neve Designs R10, which gives us enough headroom when it comes to the electrical work as needed, because if we ever want to run tube preamps, this puppy can take it all. Above that, we have got the Audient ASP 800. If you guys have seen the channel before, we've worked with Audient quite a bit, and in fact, we've reviewed this unit at our old studio. This, of course, is our drum bus pre's, for lack of a better word, because having all the same pre's when it comes to recording drums really gives it a nice cohesive sound. So we pretty much use this exclusively for drums, which is great because having 8 of the same mic pre's really helps creating that glue required for recording drums. Above that, we have the Manley DVC, which is the dual vocal combo. It's essentially a 2-channel channel strip. So it has a preamp gain, it has EQ, and the EQ is also selectable between the low frequency and high frequency. And it has a compressor as well. So having 2 channels of EQ and compression really makes it great for recording vocals. This is a fairly lesser known of the Manley lineup, but it's a really, really nice pre. Above that, we have, of course, our Behringer PowerPlay P16. As you can see, we've got 6 RJ45 connectors that are patched into the studio in the live room. And this allows 6 individual musicians to have their own monitoring setup using the P16 personal monitor as well. So that's the desk. We've been very, very fortunate to accumulate great gear over time, including some amazing pre's, compressors, EQs. So now with this new space, we can also do mastering work, which is something I've been very, very excited about. Using a G-Bus compressor as well as the SSL EQ, we can actually do analog mastering. And analog mastering is incomplete without a mastering grade monitor. In addition to the Neumanns that are our near field monitors, our far fields and our main monitors are these glorious ATC ASL 100 Pros. These are mastering grade monitors. They weigh like 75 kilos each. So it's a wonder we've even got it up there. But these are incredible, super transparent, high SPL. You can really drive them really loud without any distortion, which is great when you've got clients sitting down and they always ask for you to pump the music louder. These are great for that. but these are also great for critical listening sessions. And when it comes to mastering, there's nothing better than these monitors. Powering the full studio is this tiny little Mac Mini over here. I've been deliberating between getting the Mac Studio and the Mac Mini for a while. And as I understand it, the Mac Studio is great for video professionals, but for audio requirements, we don't really need too many GPU cores. So this particular Mac Mini is the M2 Pro. It's the 12-core version, so we get 2 extra high-performance cores, which is very, very important when it comes to rendering out projects. We've maxed this out with 32 GB of RAM, and it's got a 1 TB SSD, and so far it's been working really, really well. We use Logic as the main DAW in our studio, and the compatibility and the association between Logic Pro and Apple Silicon really makes the process smooth. It's super fast, it's super quick when it comes to bouncing projects. We do all our Atmos work in Logic as well. So as you can see, the render, working hard up over there. And Logic is our main DAW for most of the work that we use over here. So we are super excited to be the first studio in Gujarat to be a Neumann Experience Zone. Now, what this essentially means is that Neumann has partnered up with us at Compass Box Studio to provide us with this incredible Atmos setup. So we're the first studio in Gujarat to have a 7.1.4 Neumann Atmos setup. And if you can see, we're already working on some Atmos projects right now. Atmos is a brand new format for us at Compass Box Studio, but we're really excited to explore the spatial audio part of music, as well as exploring projects for OTT and movies as well. Powering the Neumann Atmos 7.1.4 setup that we have over here starts with the LCR. So our LCR are the KH150s. These are DSP powered, which means that they do a lot of the calibration, especially when it comes to EQ and attenuation on device, which is really, really cool. Down over here is possibly the largest subwoofer I've ever seen at a studio. This is the Neumann KH870. It's a 2x10 sub, which provides enough SPL that we need at mix position to comply to Dolby standards for the dart profile, for example. For the surround, so you can see the tops over here. So we've got 2 tops over here, 2 tops behind, as well as the surrounds. All of these are powered by the KH80. These are also DSP powered, and don't be fooled by their size. I know they look particularly small, but the amount of SPL that these things can generate are quite astounding. It defies physics to look at a speaker of this size producing the kind of SPL that it does. Because our mix room is fairly large, we need to comply by the DART standards required by Dolby to have 85 dB at mix position from all speakers. And the LCR, which are the KH150s combined with the KH80s, and of course our massive KH870 sub, gives us a really true-to-life Atmos experience. Now, no studio is complete without the producer couch. And at our old studio, we didn't have enough space in the control room to actually have a couch where people can come and sit down. But fortunately, in this new space, as you can see, it's huge. We have enough space for quite a few people to come here and relax and chill. The best part about this couch is that it also serves as a bed. When we have long recording sessions, this becomes home to a lot of artists, and they've slept over here overnight at the studio sometimes because it's, the recording process can be really, really strenuous. So IKEA couch, I can't remember what the name of this is, and it doesn't really matter because they all sound, I won't be able to pronounce it anyways. But yeah, IKEA couch, super comfortable, and it's just the right size for the space. Behind the couch, initially this area was completely empty, but we realized that there was a lot of negative space over here. We didn't really realize how big this control room was once we started designing it, but it was only after we started putting in the furniture and equipment we realized, oh my god, we've got a lot of space to cover up. So we've got this work desk behind the producer couch, and we've got 3 chairs as well over here. So if you want to write an email, you want to get some work done, if you've got assistants, and if you've got a team of people coming with you, then this is a great space to hang out because we have enough seating for a lot of people. We can seat up to 10 people over here comfortably without getting any additional chairs in. So this is what the control room looks like. Compass Box started in 2019, and when we first started, the idea was to just provide a platform to independent musicians to come and record their music. We've been very, very fortunate to have been awarded multiple awards in different fields. So we're one of the very few studios that has actually won awards in all 3 major categories. We've won it in production, we've won it in mixing, we've won it in mastering, and we've won it in the recording engineering aspect as well. So as you can see, we've won, from the Clef Music Awards up there, down to the IRA Awards over here. There's another Clef Music Award over there. And that's just one pillar. We've got the second pillar over here, another Best Producer Award at Clef Music. Then again, a bunch of awards from the IRA Awards, and another award down there for mixing and mastering. So we've been recognized for our work for a while, and we work pretty much exclusively in the independent music space. So if you're an indie musician from India, wants to get some work done, come down over here.